have to get used to this new recording angle. Let's try again. Is Faraday Future the next Gamestop? That is the question that we would like to solve today. So, Faraday Future, you know, the electric car maker that has died probably 100 times now. I remember when they showed the first time the Faraday Future concept car, I think it was at CES 2016 or 2017. And since then, really, I'm not joking, at least 5 times I have read that Faraday Future is done, Faraday Future is over, they are dead. And they are now still here, and not are they only here, but their stock is pumping like crazy. And not only is the stock pumping like crazy, but it could be the next insane short squeeze like GameStop last year. Let's have a look, friends, and compare these two stocks and find out if this could really happen. Let us first start with the GameStop chart, because it is a fascinating chart, okay? So we can see GameStop has been in a very slow and brutal decline since 2013, and then we went into a slow and brutal decline from 2013 onwards, where it just went down all the time and went from around $58 down to a low of $2.57. Just think about this. It's like a factor of 20 decrease in value in the time span of 7 years, a factor 20. So if you bought GameStop here, you didn't have a lot of fun. You didn't have a lot of fun for a very long time. But what happened then afterwards? Bam! Like insane pump. Look at this. It went from $2.53 to $486, friends. That is a factor of almost 200 of increase in the time span of March 2020 to January 21, not even 1 year. So how could this happen? What happened? And why am I comparing this to Faraday Future? Am I stupid? Now, the way this happened, friends, is that the stock first started kind of creeping upwards. There were some good fundamentals happening, a new CEO and whatnot, and then it kept creeping upwards slowly, okay? But if I load the short interest, we can see what happened here, friends. Here I have the short interest, and we can see that we have an insane spike in short interest in October 2020, so around that time here, okay? So that means that if the short interest is very high, many people are shorting the stock. So, and if people short a stock very, very much, then we can get a phenomenon that is known as short squeeze. So this is exactly the situation we were in here, starting from late 2020. And then in early 2021, GameStop was picked up by Wall Street bets, okay? And since the stock was shorted so much during that time, we can see the short interest never went down to the level that it was here. So it was really a very strongly shorted stock by hedge funds. And this was, of course, then picked up by Wall Street bets. And they said, hey, you know what? Let's show those hedge funds. Let's show those a-holes from the hedge funds, because they always manipulate the markets and they earn money by destroying the livelihood of people. So why should not we, the people, take back the freedom and use the weapons of hedge funds against them, their own weapons against them, okay? And this is what happened. So they started buying. Many people went to Wall Street bets, started buying GameStop, the price rose, and this triggered an insane short squeeze where the big hedge funds, they had to buy back a lot of shares and they made huge losses, and this created this insane spike. Friends, this created this insane spike where in a very short time, in January 2001, price pumped from around $19 to around $468 in a matter of only a few weeks. In the daily chart, we can see it better. In a time span of only a few weeks, we went a factor of 27, friends. Can you imagine? A factor of 27.4 to $467, okay? So this is absolutely incredible. The factor here and the complete factor is even more insane. From the lowest low to the high, we are talking here a factor of 189, almost a factor of 190. increase in a time span of not even 1 year. That is absolute insanity. Now, why am I talking about this? What does this have to do with Faraday Future? Let us load Faraday Future, friends, okay? And what do we see here? We see a fascinatingly similar situation where we have a stock that has been in decline all the time because, as I said before, Faraday Future has died like 500 times already and they just keep coming back from the dead. They are like, I don't know how they are doing it, but they have more lives than a cat and they just keep coming back, and apparently they are managing, from what I heard, to launch their car, the Faraday Future FF91, which I think is a cool looking car, so I wish them the best of success. I really hope they make it because I think we need more cool looking futuristic electric cars on the road, okay? I wish them the best of success. So they are now launching quite soon the car, and what do we see? Oh wow, look at the short interest here. The short interest is spiking like a freaking crazy bastard since a few days now. Bam, short interest has never been so high before, and we can see it has spiked here. And what's happening now? The stock is pumping, it's going vertical, it's going completely vertical. And the short interest is still a lot higher than before, so this could go on for quite a while. Now let us compare those two charts, okay? Let us compare Faraday Future here, and on the right side, friends, I have Gamestop. Now take a look at this chart, just compare this chart before the pump started, okay? This chart here on the right side and this chart here on the left side, before the pump started. Do you see some similarity? I mean, this almost looks like a carbon copy. We have these two hilarious peaks here. We have a complete decline in both cases. We have this bump here, this bump before the final pull down, and then the final drop here. Look at this. This is insane, the similarity. And now the pump started, okay? Now the pump started, and we zoom into here when this pump started with Gamestop. We zoom in here when the pump started with Faraday Future. And what do we see? We are now where Gamestop was. It's a bit above this resistance line here, right? There was also this resistance line here. So I expect that we are now here. We are now here. So if this would continue, and friends, I cannot guarantee that this will continue. I just see the similarities. I just see that the chart looks extremely similar. So if this is picked on now by Wall Street bets and people think, hey man, this looks really like a very much shorted stock, let's buy up the price of this stock, let's pump it up so that all the fat shorters get liquidated, and then of course this would lead to an insane short squeeze, okay? So if this would behave analogous to the GME stock, this might wobble around a bit more, and then suddenly, bam, it would go completely vertical. Completely vertical. Now, if it would do the same factor, friends, if it would do the same factor, factor of 188 from the low to the peak, friends, if this would repeat, I'm not saying it will, okay, I'm not saying it will, but if this was to repeat a factor of 188, I have to go quite up high here. We would be at a price, friends, of $300, okay? $300. Now, does this even make sense? Let's look at some market caps. Faraday Future currently has a market cap of $2.27 billion, okay? And we are now at $7 and what was the price? 52 cents, okay? So this would mean that Faraday Future would pump from here a factor of 39.8, something like that, times 2.273. We would be looking at a market cap of $90 billion. Now you might say, are you freaking insane, man? $90 billion, huh? Are you completely crazy? But friends, let me show you the valuation of some electric car makers during their peaks where they had not produced a single car yet. For example, Lucid. I like Lucid a lot. I think they have great potential. I like the design of the Lucid Air very much. I think it's a really nice and compelling electric car that could beat the Tesla Model S. I think it looks cooler than the Tesla Model S and is, in my opinion, the best Model S competitor right now on the market. So I think Lucid is great, and we see that during their peak, Lucid had a valuation of $55. So they were over twice as high, almost 3 times as high in the market cap as they are now. And right now they are $32 billion, okay? So we are talking about a market cap here of $90 billion. They were at $90 billion during their peak, and they did not produce a single electric car. They hadn't produced a single electric car. Now, let's look at Rivian, another good example. Rivian, also a publicly traded company. So Rivian, market cap of $28 billion, and when they IPO'd, they were 4 times as high. Their stock was 4 times as high. So they were over $100 billion market cap without having produced a single electric car. Now, Gamestop themselves went to, I think, now they are at $10.78 billion. So they were over twice as high, 3 times as high. So they were at around $37 billion market cap during their peak. So is it so unrealistic to assume that Faraday Future could peak to 100 billion? Maybe it is a bit on the extreme side, but even if we say, okay, it would pump only half as much, right? It wouldn't pump like a factor of 180 or 190. It would only pump half as much, a factor of 90. It would go to 144, okay? It would go to a market cap of $50 billion, which would be for an electric car maker, as we saw, nothing unusual. Electric car makers that haven't produced a single electric car yet are sometimes valued at 50, 60, 70, and in the case of Rivian, even over $100 billion. Of course, this is not a sustainable market cap, so Faraday Future would not stay at 100 billion or $50 billion of market cap for a very long time. Probably the price would come down very fast again, but as we can see in the case of GameStop, it is still trading quite high. We are at about a third of the peak market cap, about a third, okay? So if you would say Faraday Future would peak now a factor of 90, so to $50 billion market cap, something like this, right? And then afterwards it would be at around a third of the value, so it would stabilize at maybe $50. $50, what would that be? Yeah, so that would be around 7 times as high the market cap as it is now, 7 times as high. So this is like 7 times 2.273. So let's say $15 billion market cap. So a market cap of $15 billion after the stock would have stabilized is absolutely nothing unusual. In fact, if they really will release their car, if they will manage to release the Faraday Future FF91 and really sell a few hundred cars, I think this scenario is actually not so unlikely, and they are planning to release the car in Q3 this year. So I think this, in combination with a potential short squeeze, could make this company a very fascinating high-risk short-term invest. Now friends, let's be clear, I'm not saying you should do this. This is super high-risk stuff. I just want to show you the similarities because I found it quite fascinating how similar the chart is, and just from a market cap perspective, there's absolutely no reason why Faraday Future could not pump to 30, 40, 50 billion dollars, and in the most extreme case, for a very short time, just during the peak, $200 billion of market cap in the most extreme case, okay? I'm saying this is possible, but of course I'm not saying that this will certainly happen. I'm just showing you the charts here, which in my opinion look fascinatingly similar. So that's what I wanted to talk to you about today. I found this chart similarity here quite eerie and quite fascinating. Just look at the charts, how similar they actually look. And if the short interest in Faraday Future keeps being so high, I mean, just look at this insane spike in short interest. Friends, we could be looking at a quite hilarious situation here where Faraday Future could in theory repeat what GameStop was doing last year. But of course, this is highly speculative. So please don't sell your house and take up a loan and go all in Faraday Future, okay? I'm not a financial advisor anyway. Please always do your own research before investing, and also never invest more than you can afford to lose, friends. So I want to talk more about stocks on this channel now, about specific stocks. We'll also take a look at Tesla and analyze stocks of other disruptive companies. I'm very fascinated and interested in disruptive technologies, okay, disruptive companies, because I think the future will be highly fascinating. So we live in an interesting time where there are huge technological advancements, and if we keep track of disruptive technology companies, there are a lot of nice opportunities out there, not only crypto, where one can make some really good gains, because such things as GME has shown us that you don't necessarily need to have coins to 100-fold your money anymore. This sometimes hilariously now even works with regular stocks. That's how crazy the world has become. But of course, I will still continue to make crypto updates. Don't worry, I will continue on this channel always to make crypto, Bitcoin, altcoin updates. We will look at the stock market also in general, at the big picture stuff of the stock market, you know, like will we go into a recession now? Will the stock market do a dead cat bounce? What is going to happen? But I will also want to look at specific disruptive technology companies. Maybe we can find the next GameStop. Who knows? Thanks for watching, friends. Have a nice day and see you in the next video. Auf Wiedersehen.